Thank you all for coming out. I'm Tony Duvall, Chief of the City of Takoma Park Police Department. I'm joined this afternoon by Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy, members of my staff, members of the Takoma Park City Council, and County Executive Mark Elridge. Our investigation into the shooting that occurred on the early morning hours of April 7th, 2021 in the parking lot of 7333 New Hampshire Avenue in Takoma Park has led to the arrest of David Hall Dixon of the 7300 block of New Hampshire Avenue in Takoma Park. Mr. Dixon was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, use of a handgun in commission of a felony, and reckless endangerment in the murder of Dominique Williams, age 32, of the 7600 block of Allendale Circle in Hyattsville, and James Lionel Johnson, age 38, of the 3300 block of Princess Stephanie Court in District Heights. Mr. Dixon has also been charged with attempted murder and use of a handgun and the commission of a felony in the assault of Michael Thomas, age 36, of Washington, D.C., who is the driver of the vehicle that Mr. Dixon shot into. Mr. Dixon was taken into custody this morning without incident. He's currently at the Montgomery County Detention Center, and he does not have a bond. We appreciate the community's patience as we conducted a comprehensive investigation. Our investigation was swift and thorough. Our investigation revealed that Mr. Dixon's overview of events was inconsistent with the facts in the case, and that Mr. Dixon had no lawful or justifiable reason to shoot and kill Mr. Williams and Mr. Johnson. I want to remind the public, and this is important, we are a little over 54 hours into this investigation, and that it's still an active investigation. I want to thank the men and women behind me of the Takoma Park Police Department who worked tirelessly over the last 54 hours to investigate this case. I also want to thank the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office who assisted us in this investigation, and also the Montgomery County Police Forensic Science Unit that also assisted us in processing the scene. At this time, I will turn it over to Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to thank the Chief for holding this press conference. I want to indicate to you that there are many members that represent the people of Takoma Park. I've been in regular contact with Mayor Stewart, with the county executive. The Chief and I have spoken countless times over the last several days, and this has been almost around the clock kind of effort by both my office and his department since this event took place. David Hall Dixon, who is from Takoma Park, has been charged with 5 criminal charges. Since on my way here to this meeting, I was informed that he had appeared before a commissioner, and he was charged with 5 matters. Some of those matters carry very, very heavy penalties of 40 years in prison. Both of the murder charges carry 40 years. The attempted murder carries 40 years in prison. Use of a handgun carries 20 years in prison, and reckless endangerment is a 5-year misdemeanor. I would indicate to you that when he went before the commissioner today, as a matter of protocol, the commissioner was not authorized to release him based on the nature of the charges that came before the commissioner. The commissioner held the defendant without bond. He'll be held at a detention facility here in Montgomery County. The next time that Mr. Dixon will take a step in this process, he will be brought before a district court judge. I don't know the name of the judge. It's assigned by the administrative judge of the court. They'll hold the bonds on Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock in the district court in Rockville. At that time, there will be an analysis of whether or not that Mr. Dixon should remain incarcerated pending the resolution of this matter, or would be free on bond. That is a determination of a judge that will take place on Monday. I will tell you that at the hearing that takes place on Monday, a preliminary hearing date will be set. What does that mean? Approximately 30 days after Monday, the judge will say, by order, that the state's attorney's office has to take action in this matter, indicting this matter. Typically what that means is this matter would be taken before the grand jury for Montgomery County, where we would be asking them to consider all the facts and circumstances of the case, the same ones that were contained in the application of statement for charges in this case. I was told by the chief, you are going to be given a copy today before you leave of the application. We could not give it to you until it officially had been filed with the court. It has been filed with the court because the bond hearing is over, and so you will see the document that the commissioner acted on when they issued the 5 charges against the defendant. I would anticipate that we would move on these matters there are many of you that I've seen before these matters, and you know that when a preliminary hearing is set, approximately 30 days from Monday, we almost always act and go before the grand jury prior to that date. And so on the preliminary hearing date, which is 30 days from Monday, we would most of the time typically go in and announce what we have done or what action the grand jury has taken in this matter. I am going to confine myself to the procedures that I've outlined. You have the charging document, which is a matter of public record. The chief may be wanting to answer some brief questions for you, but ethically, all of you know that I can't make comments about a pending criminal matter. I will say to you that we, from the State's Attorney's Office, would like to send our condolences to the families of Mr. Johnson and Mr. Williams, who are the victims in these cases. And I want to just simply thank the men and women of the Takoma Park Police Department, particularly the chief, who've worked with us diligently, literally round the clock since this happened. And this is the only department, the only small department that does the investigation of their own homicides. And I've been around long enough to know that this department does wonderful, wonderful work. And they did another wonderful job in this case, and I want to congratulate them for that.
Standing behind me, we have the detectives that worked tirelessly over the last 54 hours, and we're going to open up to questions. I'm going to bring up Detective Earl, who is one of the lead detectives in the case, to answer questions specifically about the case. If the questions are outside the scope of the case, I may answer the questions. So, Brad, if you want to go with your first question.
Yeah. Chief, why second-degree murder? Why not first-degree murder? These fellows were shot in the back as they were fleeing.
The charges that were levied were the charges that we thought were appropriate. Like I say, it's still an active investigation. Those charges can be amended, but we thought those were the most appropriate charges at this point.
Can you talk about the conflict between the defendant's story and what you saw in surveillance video
As the charging document states, there were inconsistencies in the overview Mr. Dixon provided and what we determined in our investigation, and that's all I'm at liberty to say at this point.
Was he wearing any kind of uniform at the time? He said he was off duty. Was he coming from work or on his way to work?
He was off. He was not in uniform, and I believe he was on his way to work.
Did he identify himself somehow as law enforcement?
That's still part of our investigation.
Officer Dixon said he shot the 2 men because they were breaking into cars. Does that align with your investigation?
We have confirmed that the victims involved and the other individual involved were actually breaking into vehicles.
Does he have any police powers in Montgomery County?
First of all, the case does not involve his position as a law enforcement officer. He was a civilian who acted as a civilian who happened to be a law enforcement officer in another jurisdiction. That being said, we do not believe that Mr. Dixon had any law enforcement powers in the state of Maryland. But as I said, this is not related to his employment with the Pentagon police. He was acting as a citizen in the state of Maryland as we investigated.
I mean, not that we ever want this to get. Is there a message from this case that should go out to everyone, both in warning about taking the law into your own hands and in how swiftly you will act?
That's a very good question. We absolutely encourage people not to take action if they observe criminal activity. Be a good witness. Call us. But do not take action. As I said, Mr. Dixon was acting as a citizen when he approached these individuals. So we want our citizens to be our eyes and ears, but to call us, to be good witnesses, not intercede themselves. I would highly encourage any of our residents that encounter criminal activity to call us and allow us to handle the situation.
Were the 2 men who were killed a threat to Dixon in any way specifically?
It's still an active part of our investigation.
Where were they? I mean, you have this in the charging documents. Where did the medical examiner found what was the trajectory of the weapons?
I'll let Detective Earl respond.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
What was the trajectory of the weapons, and what portion of the body, I'm asking this because I want your answer, but what portion of the body did the bullet enter these victims, and where was Officer Dixon standing when the fire was done?
Williams and Johnson were both shot in the rear upper torso, the back area.
And Officer Dixon was standing behind the car as he was leaving?
That's still under investigation, but that's everything that appears to be, yes, sir.
Were the victims outside of the car when they were hit, or do you believe they were in the car?
I believe they were in the vehicle.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
That's still part of the investigation, it's still active, and we're still looking into comparing everything.
How clear is the video that you recovered from the scene? Were there multiple cameras on?
The video is clear enough for us to see what was happening.
Did the victims have any weapons on them?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Did the victims have any weapons on them? The two men who died?
Did they have
Or
any?
any other weapons on scene?
No, that's still under investigation with the vehicle that they were operating. We're still looking into what was recovered out of that vehicle. Again, we're 50-some hours into this investigation. Our whole team has been working since we got notified. Very little sleep, and everything is still moving fluently.
We're gonna take about one or two, maybe three more questions, and then we got to go back and start working on this again.
I believe you say he made a statement. Can you detail that in any way at all?
As the charging document said, the statements he made to us were not consistent to the evidence from the scene and other information we obtained.
Were there other witnesses at all?
Again, it's a fluid investigation. Right now, I can't answer those questions.
Is there any intention of charging the survivor in this committing crime?
No, sir. We have no intention of charging the survivor of this incident with a crime. They were victims. All three were victims in this particular case, and we have no intention of charging them. I'm going to take two more questions, and then we got to go back in. Brad, yes.
Were the Takoma Park Police ever made aware of an incident in the lobby of that building involving Mr. Dixon last spring involving a weapon?
We responded to an incident last spring. I do not have the particulars of that incident right now. If you follow up with me, I can ascertain exactly what the circumstances were. I'll take one more question.
What's Mr. Dixon's status with the Pentagon force?
Mr. Dixon is currently on administrative leave, I believe. We'd have to refer all questions regarding his employment with them to them. So at this point, we're going to wrap up the press conference. I really appreciate you all coming out. As I said, this has been a rapid and fluid investigation, and we appreciate the support of the media and appreciate the support of our community, and we thank you all for coming out.
I did, yeah. Okay, so we can